New York City Mayor Eric Adams has called himself the future of the Democratic Party, but he has faced several challenges in his first few weeks in office. A fire in the Bronx killed 17 people, including children. A woman died after being pushed onto the subway tracks in Times Square. A baby was hit by a stray bullet in the Bronx. And today, the second officer shot in Harlem on Friday has died. Yesterday, Adams laid out his strategy to combat crime and gun violence in the city. His blueprint to end gun violence includes reinstating a modified plainclothes anti-crime police unit, harsher prosecutions for young people charged with gun possessions, appointing more judges who want to keep violent criminals off the street, changing laws concerning bail for defendants, and additional checkpoints at city entry points like the Port Authority. But as Adams sets off on a tough on crime path, will his blueprint be used by a Democratic Party intent on reversing Republican attacks that they're soft on crime? Joining me now to discuss is Vice President of Law Enforcement Initiatives at the Center for Public Policing Equity, Hans Menos. So, Hans, what do you make of Eric Adams' blueprint for reducing this gun violence?
So, first, Charles, my condolences to the family of the fallen police officers, Maura and Rivera. It's impossible loss, and I imagine the mayor is trying to respond to that. However, I'm not sure this is based in any historical accuracy, right? We know, in fact, the mayor knows that some of the responses, such as anti-crime units, have historical roots in New York City and around the country, and are historically really corrupt units, problematic units, and units that have negatively impacted Black and brown communities. So I'm not sure that it's really based in any evidence or science. The mayor's plan talks about the many streams or the many rivers that lead to gun violence, which really tells us that we need a more targeted approach. We need to understand the data behind it. So how do we know in 5 years or in 10 years if this roadmap impacts the rise, God forbid there be a rise in violence, or the dip in violence? What we know is that when violence has gone up and down, criminologists who have studied this have struggled to understand what has caused things to go up or down. And so I think what we really need to understand more about this plan is it going to have the impact that he says it's going to have, and why do we believe that? What's the evidence base for that? I want to give a special mention to the somewhat draconian practice of being especially hard on young people carrying guns. The mayor's plan is especially contradictory in that way. He talks about summer youth employment. He talks a lot about gun violence interruption and the investment in communities and schools to help young people. But then he turns around and says, what we also need to do is be super hard on these same young people that we are acknowledging in the same plan need support, need love, need more systems of care. And that's especially offensive and problematic, and especially needs to be rethought.
So yeah, I really want to drill down on this idea of it's very easy to expand policing, to make it more harsh, to make it more draconian. It is very hard to reel that back in. And we see that over and over again. Even when discussions were around reallocating funds, it's very hard to go to the public and say we need to change policing to reduce it. But very easy to go out and say let's spend more, be harsher, let's put more plainclothes officers, for instance, into the field. What do you think about the idea of the unexpected or unforeseen consequences, which some of us can foresee? You know how this story ends. They're all good intentions. Right? You want for fewer people to die, but once you've done it, once you've let all these people out on the loose, some of them do bad things, and that becomes the headline.
And as it should be, right? Because these are people who are there to keep us safe, to keep communities safe. And yeah, as you said, we're looking at history repeating itself. When crime sends us into a place where we're saying anything at all to solve this problem, and we're solving it, as you noted, with police. Again, we've been here before. We know what the solution is, or rather what the solution isn't. And so, Mayor Adams is mentioning things like increasing oversight. That's a conversation we've had, inclusive supervision. That's happened as well. Now body-worn cameras, I encourage you to ask the New York Civil Review Board how easy it is to get access to body-worn camera footage. So what does it really mean about when we say they're going to have cameras? We know that the public never sees that footage. So a lot of these issues, to your point, are really, we've been there before,
Right.
and expanding it is certainly problematic, especially when we're failing to invest in other places. His plan is noticeably
Right.
light on the expansion outside of policing, the expansion to include investment and mental health services, and really, as you accurately note, doubles down
Right.
on a draconian response, a punitive response to to issues within our
So,
cities.
so how's that? I have less than a minute, but I want to get this question in. How do we stop the ping-ponging of tragedy, right? So when there's a tragedy related to police killing unarmed black people or someone, then that activists rise up and say we have to change policing. When there's a tragedy involving the killing of police officers, politicians and police unions use that as a way to say we need more policing. We need, you need to stop, demonizing us or whatever. And this ping pong effect has us losing sight, kind of both sides the argument, and lose sight that we have to have some fundamental changes in the way we treat policing and criminal justice in the country. How do we stop that ping ponging effect?
Well, yeah, and Charles, I think what we start by doing is centering communities, right? So the idea here is that Black and brown communities have felt the burden of policing for decades or far too long. So their pain should be respected. Mm-hmm. We should center that. We should understand what's causing that and do every single thing we can do to ameliorate that. That doesn't minimize what happens to police officers. But if we're led by the data, led by the understanding of what we can do, about what is working, what's not working, we most of all understand that public service, the public servants that are there to protect communities. We're starting from the right place. We're bringing the people most impacted into the solution, and that's where we have to start.